Author Bell Hooks writes, I dreamed about a culture of belonging. I still dream that dream. I contemplate what our lives would be like if we knew how to cultivate awareness, to live mindfully, peacefully, if we learned habits of being what would bring us closer together, that would help us build beloved community. One of the habits that brings us closer together and helps us build community here is in sharing our joys and gratitude and concerns with each other each week. We lift those things up that are heavy in our hearts that we need others to help us carry. We also lift up those things which we are celebrating that others might rejoice with us. So beginning this week, we're returning to an additional way that we did Joys and Sorrows before the pandemic. Some of you that were here previously may remember. So I created a station that's right out here at the table above the stairs, Joys and Sorrows station. There are slips of paper. You can write your name, that's optional, on there, and you can write your joy or your sorrow on the piece of paper. Then you put it in the little box that's there, and then the ushers will bring it up to me during the service. Now, we're still gonna have Joys and Sorrows on the microphone, and folks on Zoom can still participate by writing in, but this is just another option. This gives you an option to be anonymous. If you have something that you need to share, but you don't want your name out there, it's also great for introverts. Who don't like to be on the microphone. And you can also send things to me by email and I can write them on there. Then what we'll do is we're going to take those and then also the things that you say here, and I'll write them down in this book, which will also be out there. And this kind of serves as a communal diary for us so that we can see those things, go back to them. Who was it that said that they were struggling with something? If you need to revisit that, you can look in the book and find it. In addition to that, because we know that caring for one another is so important, especially in these times, we've also created a caring card station that's downstairs in the social hall. So that table that was on that back wall over there that had puzzles on it, there are all kinds of cards, some donated by the Needlework Guild that are beautiful. Thank you cards, thinking of you cards. If you hear of somebody or you know somebody that you would like to send a card to, you can simply fill it out, write your name and your message to them on there, put their name on the envelope. There's an empty basket there, put them in the basket. Then we'll address them and send them to those folks. Any questions about any of that? No. So if you, well, first I'm gonna ask the ushers, will you go check and see if anybody did write anything in that box for me? And then we'll open it up for, no, not today. Then we'll open it up for folks to share here on the microphone. Please raise your hand if you have something to share today.
Hi, I'm Seth, and I'm on the hospitality committee today. I'm also on the nominating committee. And it's my sorrow to say that someone left a sink of dirty dishes for the hospitality committee today. Yamini has kindly cleaned up after whoever had their event recently. But I would kindly ask if you're here on a Saturday or Friday or Thursday or Wednesday and you have an event and you generate dirty dishes, please clean them up, because when everything gets stuck on the bottom of the cups, it makes it twice as hard. Now, that's over. On behalf of the nominating committee, leadership is when you take responsibility for things you don't own. And the nominating committee is seeking to develop leaders from the congregation to serve on the board and in other capacities on committees. So if you are interested in being developed as a leader, whether you're new to leadership or an experienced professional, please keep in mind that there are opportunities here, because there's going to be an email going out in the Unison, and we're going to have meetings to develop prospects. Everyone is welcome, especially new members.
Cake, I heard there's cake.
Yeah. So, day is that, man? It's to be, we haven't decided yet. Regular Thursday, brother.
Matthew Schneider. A joy is my son decided to bring his stuffed animal Wolfie today. It's probably been about a month since he played with him, so I'm kind of, it brings a smile to my face that he's picking up his toy again after it was sort of replaced by his service stuffed animal. Concern, for those who know, for those who don't know, I do federal contracting work. And we'll just say that the news about the chaos generated from this week is all true. That said, keep those that are trying to do good work for our country in our hearts. Raise them up, give them the patience that they need, the strength that they need, so that they can get through what is not going to probably be an easy 4 years for them. Thank you.
I'm Kathy. Joy Beverly is home. In her apartment, her granddaughter's staying with her. And she sounded very cheerful. I talked to her last night. Another joy, next Saturday is first Saturday. Our speaker is David Jones. He's speaking on the Statue of Liberty. We had him last year speaking on Prohibition, and he was so overwhelmingly accepted with us. He was wonderful. Please join us Saturday, 10:30, I think it is. We have a wonderful program this year.
Hi, I'm Alexander Barrett. After this week, I've had people coming out of the woodwork in my life to tell me that they're thinking of me and my family, and including people from this congregation. And I'm really grateful to have this community right now and to have it for the next 4 years. So, well, yes, but, and I was grateful for it before this week too. But it's especially comforting to have a community of people who I know care about me and want me to be safe and happy and my family. So thank you all.
Siblings, I'm Greg Kirkwood. And because of this new administration, I'm thinking about starting a program here. This is spontaneous. Pastor didn't know about it. Nobody didn't know about it till now. I don't know what Tom is doing with this program, but I'm thinking about starting up some sort of support program on a Thursday morning, because Thursday is one of my off days. This is for the LGBTQ community, especially. And this is also for people who is questioning what our program is going to be regarding our refugees, our resident aliens coming into the country. How are we going to support them in the light of this new administration and what they want to do? I want to offer a listening ear for anybody's journey, anybody's story. Let me know what you think, my siblings.
You all have inspired me to announce this, and I hope I can get through it. Many of you know that I had a daughter who died when she was 16, 25 years ago. And I wrote a book with another church member, former church member, in her honor. She started this club when she was little. And she called it the Everybody Club. And it's a children's book about including everybody. And we, Nancy and I, my co-author and I, just decided that we're going to send a copy of the Everybody Club to every member of Congress. And we just, it's gonna cost us some money. So we started a GoFundMe, which you can find if you go to GoFundMe. Her name is Carissa, and I think it's entitled Carissa Wants to Go to Washington or something like that, because she wanted to be a politician. So I thought I'd let you know.
Linda, will you just make sure you share that GoFundMe with me and I can put it in the Friday emails? Great.
So this is the United States Congress or Minnesota Congress that you're sending?
Oh, no, the
US Congress.
Just curious.
Well, one, I want to say that's such a lovely tribute to your daughter. My sharing is both a joy and a sorrow. I had shared 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, that my last remaining grandmother had taken a turn for the worse in terms of her health, and she did end up passing a few days after that announcement. That's a joy and a sorrow because she really was ready to go, and she'd had a very rich life. She was an incredible presence and a great example of aging with joy for most of that time. The other pieces that happened was 2 days later, my Grancy is the grandparent who died. Her husband had a sister who was very close to Grancy. And when she got the news that Grancy had passed, she said, "Oh dear," and went to bed and didn't wake up. So, which is actually quite touching because she was that particular person was a very difficult personality for most people, but she really loved Grancy. So it was sort of a testament to the love that she held for Grancy. So if you could hold the Lewis family in your hearts, I would appreciate it.
Good morning. This is gonna be really hard for me, but I'm bound and determined to do it. My husband died January the 23rd, and it is a joy and a sorrow because we went to bed on Wednesday night, and and this is very personal. We always kissed each other goodnight and we said, "I love you." And so that's the last thing we said to each other, which is really a very precious, beautiful thing. And so Thursday morning at 4:30, I woke up because I called him a cover hog. He used to just pull all my covers off and I'd wake up totally freezing. But anyway, his arm was over my body and I felt it and it was so cold. And so I turned on the light and he was gone. So he had died in the sleep, which I told the doctor that and he said, "Maribeth," he said, "this may sound strange to you," he said, "but Jim died the death that all of us would like to die." And there's just such a big hole in my heart right now. And I know I'll fill it with him, with his heart. But it's very hard right now. And if any of you know of a good lawyer, I actually need a lawyer, a good estate lawyer or something like that. Because one of the things Jim taught me was if you have a very difficult decision to make, you ask the advice of 3 trusted people, and then you make your own decision. He had a sense, he just made good decisions in his life. Me, not so much. But I appreciate your prayers, your kind thoughts, and thank you for being here this morning for me.
Honey, what's your name?
Oh, Maribeth Collins. Yeah, Maribeth Rollerson Collins. Okay.
So one of the great things about this book is after the service, I'll get your email and address in here. And that way people can connect with you. Great. Ian, were there any joys and sorrows on Zoom this morning?
Doesn't really look like it, just looks to be someone talking to someone else.
Okay,
But actually, I do have a joy for myself.
Yeah.
So yesterday at BC, it was actually my first time directing. And also, so basically what I was doing was what I am doing right now, kind of between shots and telling the camera people what to do. And actually, what I am doing right now is basically every job we have at my school's news program combined. I'm like, you got this, I'm like, you got the computer with the graphics, you got audio, you got cameras, you got the switcher, you got everything. But yeah, that's a joy for me.
I have a joy too. Andrea Anderson. I'm on the hospitality committee, obviously, this morning, and I brought donuts. So please, everybody stay after the service and come downstairs.
Very quickly, I have a sort of a joy, but also a little bit of an announcement. So I do have my surgery scheduled for Friday, the 31st. And that, oh, I'm Jeannie. I'm sorry. I'm Jeannie Picos. I'm on staff here as Director of Communications and Administration. So surgery on Friday, the 31st. So really, I just want you all aware that I will not be here the next 2 weeks. And I know that puts fear in your hearts, but it will be well cared for.
yeah, I'll also mention Richard is gone for a couple of weeks, so, oh, we've got more announcements. I'm just gonna announce right now that the service is gonna run a little long. Go ahead, Heather. Go ahead, Heather.
Sorry to take up a little bit more time,
That's
but
okay.
I wanted to share a joy. I'm Heather. That the Ukrainian family that we sponsored that moved away, they're coming back for a visit February 22nd. So keep them in your heart and send well wishes. Yeah. I guess that's it. Thanks.
One last sorrow. A family friend just went into a hospice, known him for a long time. May he wishes a painful or painless passing.
Well, we actually do have someone from Zoom now. Diana Edwards in Phoenix, she says, quote, "I'm hoping to become a snowbird and spend my summers with a new UU community."
Friends, before we carry on, will you please join me in a moment of meditation and prayer? The prayer I partially adapted from Reverend Lisa Gabriel. Will you take a breath with me? Slow, deep, steady. Allow this breath to really settle in the deep recesses of your body and then release it. The overwhelm around us right now is real. The fear is real. But as we've just witnessed, the community is also real, this community. This opportunity is real. That deep breath filling your lungs, that is real. We're a bit discombobulated by design. We are swinging wildly by design. But let us settle for this moment into our bodies. Let us allow our minds to catch up. This week, we saw horrifying policies come into being, dominated by fear, bigotry, transphobia, racism, xenophobia, racism, and on and on. When a belief system is followed that suits the needs of a few rather than the myriad needs of many, things go awry. This week, we learned in horror that our sanctuaries will no longer be recognized as such, that ICE is emboldened and encouraged to enter churches, schools, hospitals, places that were previously safe havens for people. They can arrest them here. This week, we watched in horrors protections and rights for, and just the mere existence of trans and non-binary identities were erased on a federal level, leaving an already vulnerable population even more so. This week, we witnessed the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, not only in the federal government, but also among many corporations that I'm sure many of us love as they bend the knee to protect their stockholders' profits over the priority of creating a more just and fair workplaces that represent the true diversity of this country. It has been a heartbreaking week. So will you take another breath with me? And do not let go of your sorrow or your anger or your fear, but let it be seen and felt. This past week, we also witnessed the Right Reverend Bishop Marion Buddy showing us how to speak truth to power and calling on us to ground ourselves all in our love of neighbors, especially those among us who are marginalized. And she closed her sermon with these words: "May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak truth to one another in love, to walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people, the good of all people in this nation and the world." Heeding her call, I offer this prayer. Whatever name, whatever understanding, whatever way of the unknown feels knowable to you, I invite you to join me in this moment and bring them into this space. Spirit of life and love, give us strength. Give us strength to meet whatever each new day brings us. Give us strength to pay attention to what is going on with our eyes wide open. And give us strength to care for our crying spirits and broken hearts. May love be the center of our grounding and being as we commit ourselves to the brave work of speaking truth to power and standing in solidarity with those among us who are in harm's way. Spirit of life and love, protect those who need our support. Protect our trans and non-binary beloveds. Protect trans and non-binary kids and teens. Protect those whose very lives are in danger as legislation emboldens hate. Protect our neighbors who will be targeted regardless of their citizenship status, who will be targeted on the basis of the color of their skin or the pronunciation of their last names. Though the government may strip away our right of our buildings to provide them with sanctuary, may we find the best ways we can live out our values, which affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person and their right to safety. May we find the humility needed for this time. May we find the willpower needed to stay connected and not turn away. May we find the bravery to stand with those most in need, to use our privilege to support those with less. May we find all this together. May it be so, and amen. And now will you please join in our song response? Few announcements before we carry on. Heather just mentioned to me this morning that she brought in a few things for the organization My Very Own Bed. Those of you that were here last week know we made some Tide blankets. These all this, they create bed kits to go to kids in need who need their very own bed. It's a great organization. Heather, will you just raise your hand? She can tell you more about it, so ask her, and we'll also put it in the Friday email next week. Great. Steve Vincent is leading midweek meditation next week. That's at 5:30. If you need some midweek centering, I think we all need some midweek centering right now. And then next Saturday, in addition to First Saturdays that's meeting here in the morning, the Wicked Church in Minnesota is meeting here at 6 o'clock in the evening. Dan is with them. He knows more information about that. They'll be celebrating Imbolc, which celebrates the Celtic goddess Brigid, who's the goddess of inspiration and creativity, healing, smithcraft, and poetry. Gathering is at 6, ritual at 7, and there's potluck to follow. Next, I'm going to invite Kathleen up. She has an announcement.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Coate, and I serve on the Board of Trustees. If you are someone who reads the minutes that are sent out from the Board of Trustees, we have been working for several months on a survey. Yay! You all love surveys, right? So watch your email tomorrow, January 27th. Jeannie's going to be sending a link to a survey. It is an online survey. It's pretty easy to navigate. If you are someone who doesn't like to do online things, reach out to someone for help, but it is fairly easy to navigate. So we tested it many times. This is to help us plan for what we're going to be calling Vision 2028. If you remember, we had Vision 2025. Well, now it's 2025, so we need to move on. I feel so much strength in this place, and we want to make it stronger, and you can help us do that. So it's to help us move forward. We're going to create a 3-year plan, and we want your input. There are 5 categories of questions. Don't be scared, but they are: number 1, Sunday services; number 2, lifespan learning; number 3, social activities and member engagement; number 4, social justice and action and local community engagement; and number 5, enhancing the fellowship. About 3 to 4 questions per section, so not terrible. There's some checkbox type questions, and there's some where you can actually type some responses if you would like. So we're going to be analyzing that data. We're going to be building a 3-year plan based on it. You will have until February 28th. So if you can find 20 to 30 minutes of a time span where you can sit down and take the survey between tomorrow and February 28th, we would be most grateful. Thank you so much.
Before our final announcement, I just want to remind you, it's last Sunday of the month today, and we're still sharing our offering with Minnesota 350, which is a local climate organization. But I'm going to invite Karen up for the last announcement, because then she's going to be up here to sing.
Hi, I'm Karen Olson, and I am speaking on behalf of the Music Committee with a reminder that coming up on February 8th is an opportunity for us to do the things that you do best: eat, sing, and do good stuff. So we've got our community night that night, starting at 5 o'clock. And after we finish, and here's the crutch, clean up. We will have a sing-along, and it's also a fun, excuse me, fundraiser for Veep. So we'll be collecting either stuff or money, and sorry, no singing for me. And everyone is invited. So put that on your calendar, February 8th. Thanks. I forgot. Last year, the committee chose all the songs. This year, we're asking for song requests. We cannot promise that we can honor them, but on the table outside the sanctuary doors will be this sign and a red box and little slips of paper. So feel free to write down your favorites and put them in the box. We'll see if we can do them. Now I'm done.
Will the ushers please come forward to take the offering?
the clock strikes 12 and another year's gone, I give a kiss to you. As remember and so all about you. The old and the new. When the clock strikes 12 and another year has gone, I give a kiss to you. When the night is long and the bitter cold has come, please lengthen our embrace to sustain us as we mourn our regrets and the fear of days unknown. We toast the days both good and bad, the old friends and the new. While the night is long and the bitter cold has come, I give a kiss to you. As we stand on the edge of another year, I take your hand in mine. With a sure courage we will find, and the hope that leads us on. We toast the days both good and bad, old friends and the new. As we stand on the edge of another brighter year, I give a kiss to you.
Hello. Once again, I am still, Jeannie Picos. And just never have been able to move on to the other person inside me. So I am the administrator and communications director, as asked to speak briefly, reminded briefly, on Vision 2025. And I agreed, not because Laura bribed me with a birthday bottle of Prosecco, but still holding you to that. But because I was on that task group, and we are living right now in this community through the work of this task group and of course the board. It was so foundational to where we are now and so impactful. 2022, I mean, think about that. You know, we had seemingly come out of the pandemic, but we were really struggling. It was very hard financially. We were trying to put those pieces back together, but we had lost some of those pieces forever in this community. And we were way behind in our financial resources and drawing on savings and trying to mind the gap, for those of you who remember that British fundraising plea that we made. All those things helped, but we needed to look at a different way of doing things. It was an inflection point, I think, for MVU UF. And so we have this enormous slideshow. It'll probably take, 45 minutes, an hour, so. No, we're gonna go through it. I'm just trying to give Laura palpitation. Oh, sorry. So the charge from the board, just to really illustrate what this meant, was to develop and document suggestions, ideas, action plans that financially support our mission statement, and in view of changes in the world, all aspects of the fellowship, programs, finance, organization, leadership development, I mean, the whole works, we're open to scrutiny. I think that's pretty dramatic. So Ian, if we could just kind of go through this really quickly until we get down to here. So the board asked for this creation of the task force. It was Doug Bruce, Andrea Anderson, myself, Ava Mock, Candace McCallahan, and Richard Duffin. At the first meeting in July, and this group went from July to November is when we made our presentation, and it met every 2 weeks. And this work was so intense and so rewarding. You step into that story and become sort of a major character, and you get to influence that story. So here were our target areas. And every single one of these, and I can't, truly, this could be like a 40-minute presentation, but I can't go into everything, but every single target area is impacted by this work. And again, we have the fruits of that work right now. So the rental property, we really considered selling it. I mean, imagine that. Right now, our income for that property, it's, I think, about $600 more than it was. We're better neighbors for the work that was done. The people that worked on the rental property to fix it up came together as a community to do that. So it's a huge asset. Our anonymous donor saw that this could be good work for the fellowship and really helped with that. But community, better financial situation with it, and it's a huge asset that will carry us forward. We looked at this building. There were no tenants. There was Marijuana Anonymous, but that's really a goodwill gesture on our part. There are now 3 tenants giving us income, not to mention we rewrote the long-term regular rental by members, and we get income from that too. Membership, of course, our membership numbers were down. We had these resources that we consulted, and everything just really confirmed what we knew, how to be incredibly welcoming, how to grow membership, how to be present for people, knowing that people are looking for a true experience. Programs and services, our Children, Youth and Family program was really struggling. We had lost a lot of young families. We know how important that is for long-term growth at the fellowship. We love our young families, and there are so many young families now. And then, at this time too, just to mention, staff made a really good use of this time. Both Nicole and Maria were credentialed. It started in 2020 and ended in 2023. That's a major asset for us as well. That's a huge investment. Really good leaders in those programs. And then outreach, which was kind of my area, and everything is dependent on outreach. People need to know who we are. We needed solid messaging. We needed a consistent look and an upgraded contemporary logo. Okay, Ian, we're gonna run through these slides in sort of fast motion too. Yep, these were our resources. By the way, those resources for Vision 2028 people are still in our library, and they are excellent resources. Thank you, Ian. We can move forward. All these things we did. You can keep going. Yeah, keep going. Here are many things that we considered for the rental property. Again, this whole report is available if anybody wants to see it. Next. This facility, I think I've gone through all this stuff. We can keep going. Until we get there. Look at how beautiful and happy those people are, right? So that's the story of the Vision 2025 task group. It's now part of MVUUF's story. Here we are in 2025, and it's time to look forward. As Kathleen mentioned, I'll send out that survey tomorrow. Please do fill it out. And in the coming weeks, there'll be, well, actually, I think, Linda, you said you were even going to start signing up people for the next group, but there will be lots of opportunities to get more information about that, starting right after service. So in Albert Rio's poem, When Giving Is All We Have, he says, one river gives its journey to the next. In other words, we keep building the story as we go. The story of community here at MVUUF, of being better together, of growing in ways you want to, finding meaning in ways that are important to you. Our good friend, Richard Duffin, who's somewhere warmer right now, who has done just about everything at MVUF. Tech guru, treasurer, handyman. He said that the work that he did with Vision 2025 was his most meaningful work here. That's pretty profound, but imagining a successful future for a beloved community and then seeing it being written before your eyes could do that. So when the call comes to serve, I hope you'll consider lending your energies, thoughts, and talents. Step into this story with us. Thank you.
Yeah, members of the board will be downstairs at that sign-up table after the service today. If you're interested in being on the Vision 2028 team, please talk to them. It's a wonderful opportunity. We'd love to have you. Today we're finishing our month-long focus on the power of stories. Author, comic fantasy novelist Terry Pratchett writes, "There's always a story. It's all stories, really. The sun coming up every day is a story. Everything's got a story in it. Change the story and you change the world." We know about the stories that were going on this week. I do want to share, I saw on my social media posts about ICE being at various places around the cities. I'm sure some of you did too. They were on Lake Street. They were at United Hospital. It's terribly horrifying. History is a big name that we put on that container that holds all of our stories, and it reminded me of a terrifying word from our history, from those stories, that was Gestapo. I felt that when I saw those posts. And it wasn't just people in uniforms who were emboldened. In St. Paul yesterday, folks gathered outside, folks were gathering at Unity Church Unitarian in St. Paul for a workshop on congregational spiritual care. Outside of their walls, anti-LGBTQ protesters gathered, and they were hollering and harassing them. They actually told one of the female ministers to put on a proper dress and stop pretending to be a minister. So these things are happening. These are the stories that are being written right now to become a part of our histories, right? But we hold stories too. Stories of love, stories of resistance and resilience. And we also hold stories of our everyday lives, often mundane and ordinary. And sometimes, just sometimes, they might offer us something to hold on to. So here's part of my story. Many of you may remember that I fell and hit my head last September. Since then, I've had spells of vertigo and dizziness that can last a couple of weeks at a time. Disclaimer, I'm fine right now, so I'm fine, just to let you all know. I mean, I do occasionally have these spells, but it doesn't affect my ability to drive or do my work. But I get these spells, right? And vertigo is the worst thing. Well, it's not the worst thing, but it's a really bad thing. And it happens when I lay down from a seated position or turn from side to side when I'm laying down. And when it's bad, like it was a few weeks ago, the room starts spinning out of control. Now, it only lasts about 20 seconds or so, but it's completely terrifying. I usually holler and yelp, which scares the dog, and I reach out to grab onto the sheets or a pillow or the nightstand or anything to give me a sense of steadiness. Your instinct when this happens is to shut your eyes and block out the spinning, but that doesn't work because then you're just spinning in the dark. Luckily, I don't get the spins when I'm upright. Not completely, anyway. Instead, I just sometimes get a general feeling of unease that's more like seasickness if I look up for too long or try to get something from an underneath cupboard for too long or look side to side for too long. Not right now, I'm doing good right now, but a couple weeks ago it was not great for me. So on Friday, I went to a concussion doctor and was diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome, in part because Maria, who has post-concussion syndrome, kept asking me, do you think you have post-concussion syndrome? Thank you, Maria. The doctor explained to me that our eyes see everything from different points of view. You know, camera 1, camera 2, right? And our brain does the hard work of turning both of these pictures into one picture that makes sense. Our brain is always doing this work so that we don't have double vision and we don't get dizzy all the time to navigate us through the world, right? Since I bumped my brain gets tired of doing these rectifying work, right? And it just more easily gets tired and it wants to quit doing that. Thus the spins and the unease. The world starts spinning, nothing makes sense to my brain, and I can't find my bearing for what seems like an eternity, but it's usually only a few seconds. So, given the news of the last week, given the shock and awe that they promised, given possibly your own sense of terror, helplessness, lost sense of direction, perhaps even your grip on reality, how many of you folks can relate to what I'm talking about of not even being able to make sense of it or see straight, right? And it doesn't matter that we knew this was coming, right? The lack of surprise does not in any way diminish the dread and confusion that we feel. It doesn't lessen the harm that is being done. So what do you do when the world feels like it's spinning out of control? Well, according to the medical professionals that I saw this week, when things are spinning, you don't close your eyes. You don't look away. You are, however, still allowed to scream. Now, I want to tell you what happens to my eyes when I get vertigo. I get something that's called nystagmus. This is when your eyes dart back and forth quickly in your head because they're trying to find whatever, the normal part of the world. They're searching to make sense of this picture. So my eyes are darting back and forth. I had Emily watch my eyes a couple of weeks ago when I knew I was going to have an episode of vertigo when I laid down, and it really freaked her out. And she's been really nice to me ever since then. And I'm taking full advantage of it. So I love you, Emily. I think she's watching on Zoom. Getting back to my doctor's advice. The reason I need to keep my eyes open is that as they're darting around, they're trying to find that focal point to bring myself back to a sense of steadiness. So I need to look at something, a fixed point, and focus on that. And that needs to be where I'm at to get things to stop spinning. This is what the doctor told me, and I said, wow, that'll preach. So here we are. He also told me that it's important to rest when I need it, to stay hydrated, to get exercise that doesn't make me feel unsteady, and to take breaks from looking at things like my computer screen often, like every 20 minutes, just to focus my eyes on something in the distance. Parentheses. I'm literally pausing as I write this to look out the tree at my office, outside my office, doing this for 20 seconds. So what I want you to do for the next 20 seconds is imagine what you want to see on the horizon in this world. Not what is there. What do you want to imagine there? What do you want to pull into focus? Look past the spinning. What do you see? So I ask you, what do you see? What's on your horizon? Anybody?
Light.
Light?
End of war.
End of war. I didn't catch that.
Safety.
Safety. Healthy environment, right?
Elimination of material scarcity.
Elimination of material scarcity.
Kindness.
Kindness. End of poverty. Laughter. Compassion. These are the things to focus on, right? Friends, this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep our eyes on the horizon, and we're going to return to it again and again and again. And we're going to give our hearts and our brains rest when they need it. And we're going to take care of ourselves and each other the best ways that we can. And we're not going to lose sight of the things that matter most to us. They are not going to take that away from us. We will yell and we will scream. It's okay to do that, but we will not surrender to a world that wants to turn us upside down and inside out and cause harm. This community has never had a more clear sense of purpose than it does at this moment. We are here to take care of ourselves and one another by sharing our burdens and challenges, by giving one another space for healing and respite. We're here to stop the spinning. On Sunday mornings, you come here to be grounded. You can come on Wednesdays to have a little meditation or some other centering. You can join a Soul Matters group. You can join your voices in singing with the choir. There are ways for you to find that center, to ground yourself here. We come together to focus on that horizon, which is always a vision of love. All of those things that you mentioned are rooted in love. We look to the horizon, which is always a vision of diversity, equity, and inclusion being celebrated, which is always a vision of not just a safe world, but a happy world for everyone, no matter their gender, no matter their citizenship status, no matter anything. We look to a horizon where every child is loved and protected from harm. We look to a horizon where climate justice matters, where reproductive justice matters, where racial and disability justice matters, where rights for transgender and non-binary folks matter. We look to a horizon where the justice system itself matters, where rich and powerful and privileged play by the same rules as the rest of us. We look to a horizon where bloated capitalistic greed does not replace the practice of morality and fairness in business. We look to a horizon where love for one another rises like the sun every day, its warmth sustaining us, its light guiding us through all that we do. This is a story of love and liberation that is always waiting to be told. This is the story that you're invited to create and be held in. This is the story that we are writing. The story will continue, and we will continue to write it on and on and on for as long as we exist. We will change the story. We will change the world. That's what we're going to do. Now, friends, if you're with me on this, I want you to holler, I want you to scream or yell a full-bodied, amen. Amen. Ooh, I don't even have to ask you twice. Blessed be, amen, and may it be so. Lark, we're going to skip that last hymn for time, and because I know that there's some sing-along aspect to that postlude. Take a breath. Ugh, I'm fired up. I got my chalice socks on, my flaming chalice socks on for this one. Friends, will you please join me for the words for extinguishing our chalice before Karen and Tom come back up with their friends. We extinguish this flame, not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And I want to close today with this paraphrase, which is from G.K. Chesterton, not from Neil Gaiman. It was originally from G.K. Chesterton. He says, "Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten." Friends, let us go forth remembering that fire does not come from the dragon, it comes from us.
You will get out of here, but you've got to sing first.
Loudly.
It's a song by Peter Mayer, who's a UU singer-songwriter. I believe he's still a member of White Bear Lake congregation. You have a part, couple parts. And one part is, I will sing a line, and then you will sing, "Where is the light?" Now follow it. Where is the light? One more time. Where is the light? And these nice folks will definitely let you know when to do that. And then the chorus is, where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. One more time. Where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. When we're stuck in winter, dark and cold. Where is the light? When old man years bending low. Where is the light? When sun runs off to bed too soon. Where is the light? And there's nothing but a skinny moon. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. When it's dark each morning when I rise. Where is the light? And it's dark when my eggs are frying. Where is the light? And it's dark when off to work I go. Where is the light? And it's dark again when I get home. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. It's in my skin and in my bones. It's in my heart and in my soul. That light of life so bright and golden like a summer day. When the sun goes missing in the sky, it is rising in my eyes, chasing all that winter gloom away. I'm burning bright like kerosene. Where is the light? I'm twinkling like the Pleiades. Where is the light? I'm dancing like a candle flame. Where is the light? I'm flaming like a fruit flambe. Where is the light? Can you tell me where is